Alright, what is up, you guys? This is Vendico coming at you with another video today. Today we're going to be talking about a secret society that is well known in America, the Skull and Bones Society, or just the Skull and Bones. Anyway, I'd like to make a quick announcement about a new addition to my show. It's going to be called, well, we actually don't really know what the name of the show is going to be called at the moment, but soon we are going to figure it out. But basically, it's going to be a show discussing, I guess, just random news, debates. Like, there's a website I went on about debate topics, and I'm considering this one. It's churches pay taxes? ? Should churches pay taxes? Me and my friend it's gonna be me and a friend, and possibly a third one, but he's not too enthusiastic at these type of things. But anyway, yeah, we'd all be kind of biased just because one's an atheist and me and my other friend are Christians, so probably won't be doing that. But anyway, that's kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, I shot you with my really old Kodak. Anyway, let's begin the episode, shall we? Skull and Bones Society, let's begin. Its members assure outsiders that Skull and Bones is simply a college fraternity that taps 15 rich boys each year to undergo initiation that's nothing but mumbo-jumbo. Conspiracy theorists are certain that the occult-based secret society worships the absolute power of the state and the New World Order. Yes. While William Huntington Russell returned to Yale from his studies in Germany in 1832, his head was filled with the philosophy of reason as taught by George William Friedrich Hegel at the University of Berlin. In Hegel's worldview, the state is absolute reason, and individuals must give their total obedience to it. The state has supreme rights over individuals, and individuals must recognize that their supreme duty is to the state. Neither Hitler's fascism nor Lenin's communism would quarrel with these precepts of Hegelianism. Russell also returned to Yale with the notion of establishing a chapter of a corps in Germany. He called it later the Order of the Skull and Bones. Later changed it to the Skull and Bones. Later changed it to the Skull and Bones. The society, which Russell formed with Alphonso Taft, class of 1833, exists only at Yale, and only 15 juniors are selected by senior members to be initiated in next year's membership. Each fortunate initiate is gifted with $15,000 and a grandfather clock. Skull and Bones is not your typical beer-swilling goof-off fraternity. The initiate's vows have to do with the support of one another in the achievement of worldly and highly material success after graduation. William Russell, 1833, rose to the military rank of general and became a state legislator in Connecticut. Alphonso Taft was appointed U.S. Attorney General, then Secretary of War, Ambassador to Austria, and Ambassador to Russia. His son William Howard Taft was elected to the U.S. presidency in 1909 and later became Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the only person to have achieved both positions. The tomb was constructed in 1856. It is the same vine-covered, windowless brown stone hall where Skull and Bones still holds mysterious occult rites. Almost from the very beginning, a mystique grew around the Skull and Bones, as it might be expected from the university community that suddenly has within its confines a secret society. Professors objected because of its secrecy in a nation that prizes its recognition of equality and its contempt of elitism. As early as 1873, a New Haven newspaper published an article that condemned the society as an obnoxious, deadly evil, with an increasing arrogance and self-fancied superiority. In the 2012 and 2004 election, the U.S. had two bonesmen squaring off as presidential opponents. Both George Bush, W. Bush, and John Kerry are members of the secret society, and Bush had brought 5 fellow bonesmen to join his administration. The most recent was William Donaldson, 1953, to serve as head of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Ron Rosenbaum, author and columnist for the New York Observer, probably spoke for the majority of Americans when he told CBS News June 13, 2004, that he believed that there is a deep and legitimate distrust in America for the power and privilege that are cloaked in secrecy. Rosenbaum argued that they were supposed to do things out in the open in America. Rosenbaum, a Yale classmate of George Bush, admitted to a 30-year obsession with the Skull and Bones. The columnist said that he actually lived near the tomb and passed it all the time, with the initiation rites were being conducted. He said he could hear strange cries and whispers coming from the spherical windowless building, or another Yale graduate, Alexandra Robbins, claims that in her book Secrets of the Tomb, she managed to penetrate the avowed wall of silence that surrounds the society. In her opinion, the sounds that Rosenbaum heard were likely mumbo-jumbo, a silly ritual that means something to only the people who are in the society. There's a devil, a Don Quixote, and a pope who has one foot sheathed in a white monogram slipper resting on a stone skull. Robbins told Morley Safer of CBS News, the initiates are led into one room at a time, and once an initiate is inside, the bonesmen shriek at him. After enduring the shrieking, the initiate is shoved to his knees in front of the Quixote. As assembled bonesmen fall silent, the Quixote, then lifts his swords, taps the initiate on his left shoulder, and says, "By order of our order, I dub thee Knight of Yologa." According to legend, Prescott Bush, George W. Bush, George Bush's father, or grandfather, and some fellow bonesmen robbed the grave of the great Apache chief Geronimo and took home his skull as a relic for their tomb. Accounts are mixed as whether the skull was returned to the Apache nation or not. The family names to be found on the roster of the Skull and Bones truly represents the power, the wealthy, and the elite. The aristocracy of the United States: Rockefeller, Goodyear, Harriman, Whitney, Lord Taft, J. Bundy, Weyerhaeuser, Pinchot, Slan, Stimson, Phelps, Perkins, Pillsbury, Kellogg, Vanderbilt, Bush, Lovett, and so on. In his book America's Secret Establishment, Anthony Sutton detailed some of the chains of influence and the power that enables the bonesmen to accomplish their controversial plots or conspiratorial plots. W.C. Whitney, 1863, married Flora Payne of the Standard Oil dynasty and became Secretary of the Navy. Elihu Root, Whitney's personal attorney, hired Henry Stimson, 1888, directly out of law school. Root later became the Secretary of War, and Stimson was appointed of that position by William Howard Taft in 1911. Later, Stimson was President Calvin Coolidge's Governor General of the Philippine Islands, President Herbert Hoover's Secretary of State, and the Secretary of War during the administration of Franklin D. Roosevelt and Harry S. Truman. Stinson's personal assistant and the point man for the Manhattan Project was Hollister Bundy, whose two sons, William and McGeorge, both bonesmen, went on to the high ranks of the CIA, the Department of Defense, the State Department, as well as special assistants to President Kennedy and Johnson. The Bundy brothers exercising considerable influence on the information flow of the Vietnam War, and William went on to be appointed editor of Foreign Affairs, the Quarterly of the Council of Foreign Affairs. McGeorge became president of the Ford Foundation. See how the chain of influence passed from on one bonesman to one bonesman works. Let's take another chain. The Harriman Bush links Averell Harriman, revered elder statesman of the Democratic Party, his brother Roland Prescott Bush, and 4 other bonesmen from the class of 1917, dominated 2 major investment bank firms, Trust and Brown Brothers, both of which were heavily involved in financing Hitler's regime. At the same time, the advancement of communism in Russia. Skull and Bones began with an administration of the Hegelian idea of a simple omission of individual to the state. And some bonesmen continue that ideal, working to achieve a new world order. Averell Harriman, as minister to Great Britain, in charge of the Lend-Lease program for both Britain and the Soviet Union, shipped entire factories into Russia, and according to some conspiracy researchers, was responsible for the transfer of nuclear secrets, plutonium, and the U.S. currency printing plates into the USSR. Into the USSR. In 1942, the U.S. government was acting under the Trade with the Enemy Act, seized the property of both Prescott Bush on the grounds that he was fronting for the Nazis. However, after World War II ended, Prescott Bush became a U.S. Senator from Connecticut and a favorite golfing partner to President Dwight Eisenhower, who, as a commander-in-chief of the Allied forces, had directed the European invasion that defeated the Nazis regime. Prescott also claimed that personal credit as one of the Eastern moneymen behind Richard M. Nixon's rise to political power, and for persuading to add Tricky Dick to the ticket as vice presidential candidates. Is Skull and Bones simply a college fraternity, drawing upon old traditions copied from one German student secret society, tapping 15 rich boys each year to undergo initiation? That's nothing but mumbo-jumbo. Or is there something sinister in the occult-based sanitized Satanism that worships the absolute power of the state and the New World Order? That is it for today, guys. Hope you have a good day, and as always, be good to your people. Bye.